How's it going, true believers? It's Shane, and I'm here to give you another X-Men 97 episode review. And oh boy, is this gonna be a review. I'm hoping I can keep this under 25 minutes, at least 25 minutes. So today's episode is episode 5. Remember it. And I'm gonna need you to remember this. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of more reviews like this one. And if you want to support me even further, my Patreon is most certainly in that link below. Holy, holy, holy. It's something about these. I don't know if it's just specifically the Marvel shows on Disney Plus. I don't really watch a lot of the other shows on Disney Plus, like Warwick or Percy Jackson. But specifically these Disney Plus Marvel shows, episodes 4 and 5, but it's usually 5, tend to pop off so hard. If I can remember, I feel like it might be episode 3 with the Supreme Strange thing in the first season of What If. But this episode, and you got warnings, right? So Bo DeMeo, the man who created this series, right, who wrote this episode, he wrote all this stuff by himself. So Marvel, please bring Bo DeMeo back for season 3. This person gets it. He gets it. Yo, this episode had me crying at 3 separate parts, had me cheering on certain characters at certain parts. I don't even know where to start because I like talking about everything. But before I go any further, literally spoiler. If you have not watched this episode, I'm telling you, you gotta watch this before you watch this review. And if you still saying that you don't care, okay, you have been warned. I don't know if to talk about the genocide or if I should talk, do you just talk about the genocide and that's it? Because there's shit that happens in here and it is so well done. So okay, because I got my notes, I got my written notes, I got my phone notes here. Let's go ahead and just break a little bit down, right? So the line "Remember It," it's a Gambit line. Gambit said it at the end of season 2. It was like the blobby, gooey guy who, when they were fighting those other mutants, he's like, "The name Gambit, remember it," and made the dude blow up. He says it at the end of this episode too. Oh man, what a line to go out on. And I'm going to talk about the cameos and appearances. Let me dial it back a little bit. The voice actress for old Jubilee, I forget her canon name. It was the original voice actor for Jubilee. If you pay attention now, after episode, I don't think it's 2 episodes, after episode 3, I believe, initially Jean Grey has her hair down. No, regular Jean Grey rocks that ponytail for whatever reason. I like this is the one show. I said it last time, I'm gonna say it again. Y'all got me to like Madeline Pryor, and I can pinpoint why, because Maddie seems to be taking the place of Emma Frost. So before I go any further, let's talk about more of these cameos here, right? And I might tell you if someone's alive or dead or not. So I didn't put my finger on it, and I love the Runaways. I'm kind of upset with myself. Carolina Dean is actually on the Morlocks, right? You have Multiple Man, Dazzler, and I'm talking 80s Dazzler. I'm talking red hair, the X-Men arcade game Dazzler, right there. You got Nature Girl, Pixie, and I love me some Pixie, so please don't let Pixie be dead. Leech, rest in peace. Glob Herman, Marrow, Banshee, both of y'all rest in peace. Cypher. You have Trish Tillaby, who is a reporter that shows up in the comic books. So she is in here. You have Moira McTaggart, current evil a-hole in the comics, but this is the old Moira that is near and dear, at least to me. I liked old Moira. Yeah, Sebastian Shaw. I don't care if he's there. You have Emma Frost. Please be alive, Emma. Who Madeline Pryor's back. Hey, we have Kurt Connor, sorry. We have Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. Who else is here? Callisto, rest in peace. A mutant that can make ice cream. So I thought it was Iceman. And I'm like, why would Iceman be an ice cream vendor? So, hopefully that guy made it out. Exodus. This gave me hella Krakoa vibes. But Genosha is the original Krakoa, if we're gonna be honest about it. You have a Bo DeMeo cameo, like the creator. He is in here. I don't know if he makes it out, but he is in here. And the Watcher, yes, you heard it right. The Watcher is in this episode. At is 20 minutes and 40 seconds. The moment someone said it, and as soon as I was doing this episode, and I wiped my tears, and I went and I checked, and someone said, I knew shit was going down when the Watcher appeared. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was still on my laptop. Oh, snap. And the Watcher he has no expression, but you can just kind of tell he's like, oh man, this is gonna suck. Just wow. And the intro continues to give you hints. You have Gambit and Nightcrawler fighting on the OG Genosha, where the mutants were forced into labor. You have Cable showing up fighting Apocalypse. Cable shows up in here. I'm sorry, everybody. What else? Making sure I don't forget any other cameos in here. Oh boy, this touches on a whole lot. And this episode is basically based on E for Extinction by Grant Morrison, the guy who from New X-Men, the guy who also made one of my favorite additions to the affair, the little love triangle, between Scott, Jean, and Emma. But in this one, it's Scott, Jean, and Madeline. And it's so, the one thing I have to give the X-Men anime series credit for, which is not the animation. Animation now is 10 times better than what it was in the 90s. Sorry, not sorry. It did unique things. It did interesting things. But man, what this series is doing now is what I keep saying this. Please, always, you have so much source material. X-Men came out in 1963. You have so much stuff to just grab from. And grab from they have. And this is, I'm seeing two of Grant Morris's influences in here. And I think he is one of the people that's people that's thanked at the end of all the episodes, along with John Byrne, Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, etc., etc., etc. Everyone that's had a major part in X-Men that's featured in this series is thanked at an end of the credits. You should always read your credits, people. Those people deserve their flowers. But man, and then E for Extinction, Cassandra Nova takes over a gargantuan Sentinel, sends it up to Genosha to murder everybody. Who is Cassandra Nova? She is the evil twin of Charles Xavier that Charles, tried to kill in the womb because he sensed how evil she was. It didn't take at all. But yeah, she's just as ugly as Charles, and is just insane. I didn't even, a lot of times in cartoons or shows, when people get hit and they're implied dead because it's like, oh, they're face down, you can't really see them. We see people get disintegrated. We see I'm pretty sure Callisto is gone. And the irony is during the very Hellfire Gala-esque dance to crown Magneto King and Rogue Queen, get to that in a minute, is the song Happy Nation by Ace of Base. Again, a very 90s band. So, I don't think it was the original Ace of Base sound in here, but that's where the song comes from. Now, let's talk about this little triangle. You have Miss Trilby coming in, doing a report because UN is going to make Genosha a nation. They want Magneto to come there, so Magneto grab Rogue, and Gambit ain't gonna let Rogue go by herself. And we get a nice funny joke where I love that Magneto's they're taking jabs at one another because they both know they have affections for this woman. And Magneto says, in case this new Blackbird by the way, new Blackbird goes down, you do realize, Gambit, that you're the only one here who has issues with gravity, meaning he cannot fly. I had to mention that. So they're interviewing the X-Men to get to know them. And you get Beast, and Beast blushes. He's like, blue does blush, my dear, which is funny to get Jubilee talking about, it's like any other normal, it's kind of like any other normal school. What's up, fight evil robots and a vampire dinosaur. Sauron, nod. Can't wait to see Sauron again. But let's talk about, I gotta scroll up a tiny bit. Where Cyclops is talking to her. Now, Jean is off to the side. She's in the lake doing her Jean Grey shit where she's moving back the water, using the water to look at memories. And we see a lot of flashbacks from the old stuff. I think they actually took some of the like images and juxtaposed them on the water orbs. And Logan's talking to her. He's like, how come you're not in there, Jeannie? And she needs to be away from it because A, her and Cyclops have not talked, and B, she's still trying to figure out what memories are hers or what memories are her clones, right? And she says it's hard to, have that conversation. Now, here's what's insane. You do have both of them telling the same story about when they knew each other were the one. And Gina's talking about, in Nevada when she became the Phoenix, or she had the cosmic entity take over. And Logan's like, yeah, you became the Phoenix. She's like, oh yeah, you were there. So she's still healing from that. And we do get a bit of a time lapse. That's another thing that sometimes I wish was explicitly stated, but it's good that you don't need to be handheld for some of this, and people need to just not be, I hate to say dumb, but not be dumb. That a few months have passed. And so she tells him, like, it seemed like Scott was scared to talk to me, that I had changed, but I had assured him that I didn't. And he's telling the same story to Trilby, because Miss Trilby wants to know, they're the power couple. Tell me about it. And Cyclops was talking. She was talking to Logan. Cyclops can't take off his glasses, even though it's messing with the thing. We obviously know why he can't take off his glasses. And they still call her Marvel Girl, which is interesting. I do like that in comics and with fans and internally, like, she's just Jean Grey. We dropped the Marvel Girl thing a long time ago. Like, certain characters just, you don't give them the code name. And some characters, you just only call them the code name a lot of times, like Storm. So in Forge, we don't really know his real name. Claremont had a pen name. I think his name was like Eagle. Was it Eagle Claw? Something Eagle Claw. But he doesn't really even have a name that we know, right? I digress. I wholly digress. So Scott is frustrated, and Jean understands this as well. She's like, he's grieving for his son. His son is gone. Don't even know if his son is alive, right? And she held back his eye beams, and his eyes made her stay. She was going to go off, but he made her stay, right? And Logan is telling her, I know about drowning in memories. It's best to keep paddling and keep your head forward because the past will drag you under. And he makes note that he's old. He's hundreds of years old. And, I forgot how many sunsets you've seen. I only seen one of you, Red. And she kisses him. And Logan flat out goes, hey, you're Jean Grey. He's Scott Summers. Those the rules. You just forgot him for a sec. That's all. Go and talk to the overgrown Boy Scout. And, man, Logan, I know I held back a little bit when we're talking about some of these feelings. I know what it feels like, Logan, to be on that side and be like, oh man, I care about you, but you with somebody, and I get it. So I eased up on Logan a little bit. I think as soon as we found out Maddie was Maddie, I kind of eased up on him a little bit because I saw kind of how he was affected. And I felt that was actually the same episode where Scott was talking about fathers. Damn, that's episode 3 was tight. And so I get it, Logan, but sometimes you just got to move forward, bro. Trust me, I feel you, but you got to move forward, man. And I do like how he accepts. He's like, that's your guy. You were his girl. This was just, don't even think about it. He's still going to love you. Still going to have feelings for you. But we move forward how we move forward. And the lady wants to talk about Nathan, because to the world, Jean Grey gave birth to the baby. And she's asking about, he's like, well, we don't have kids. And, well, we heard this from a doctor. And then Scott goes off, he's like, that bigot didn't even want to deliver my son because we're mutants. She's like, why lie? Why would you lie? I want to give you a chance to talk. And he's like, I'm going to read verbatim here. This is important. Because you're normal. We fight, risk our lives for you. Evil mutant robots, crazy aliens. I gave him up because you can't say thank you, because I have to stomach your questions and prove that I'm a person. I lie because the truth is we're nothing like you, and thank God, because it's the only reason you people are still alive. Cyclops Savage, X-Men 97 Cyclops might be best Cyclops. This is one of like 4 really great speeches. And it's at this point where you think he's in the room with Jean and he's talking and going, oh man, I went off. And my goofy ass, I'm like, oh, Jean has her hair down. That's not Jean, that's Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor is having a psychic rapport. Literally something that Jean had just bragged that, oh yeah, we have a little psychic rapport. It's just us. And they're in there and she's touching his hand and kissing him because he's thinking about Nathan. He is still hurt about having to abandon his son. And then you see Jean's head coming in like, Madeline, what are you doing? She comes up to Scott and he's like, how long? I don't know, a couple months. And I love the back and forth. Do you love me or you love her? I love both of you. Well, let's be real. That's actually a very real and honestly a good answer, because I thought she was you. I thought I would continue my life with you. So yeah, I was doing the thing, but you're here. Scott is not just dealing with the loss of his son. He's dealing with the fact that everything in his world has been flipped upside down. What the hell is he supposed to do? But I do love the hypocrisy. When Jean, you just finished lip locking with Logan. And you're like, oh, how dare you, girl? Stop. And then something hits her psychically in the head. We're going to come back to that later. We go to another love triangle. And you would think this episode is all about triangles and emotions and making you cry. Now, none of this here made me cry. But let's talk about Rogue and Gambit and Magneto, where very Krakoa Quiet Council-esque want Magneto to come in and be the ruler, because on Genosha there are statues of Charles, there's statues of Mags and Shaw, Emma, even Moira. They're like, we kind of need you here. And Moira's saying like, yeah, Magneto doesn't want to do it, by the by. And Moira's like, yeah, there was somebody better, but Charles is dead, man. And so he's going to do it on a condition that Rogue be his queen. And they're having this heated discussion. I got to cut myself off. I love the introduction or the reintroduction of Nightcrawler coming in. He's serving to be a spiritual counsel, on behalf of the church. And this, again, we're going to talk about love again. And, Magneto's like, I'm not going to pretend like I don't have passion for you, because just like Gambit, you make broken men whole, even if we can't touch you. Even if you break our hearts, technically he can touch you. Even if you break our hearts, it's worth it because you make us whole. He is such a way with words. Such a way with words. The heartache is not in vain, he says. So, boy, oh boy. It's deep, y'all. But he's saying, you be my queen, you come here with me. That was my condition. By the by, I love the nod to the Emma love triangle, where after Jean shut that whole shit down and she's back at the table and was like, everything all right, Madeline? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm good. And Emma just smirks because Emma knows what's going on. She knows what's going on, man. That's But yes. So I'm going to go a little bit back. Where basically Kurt's telling Gambit, just marry the girl. Like, anybody can tell you have feelings for her, because she's getting involved with the little song and dance that's going on with the Genoshans. And Gamble, talks about how your soul's touching. Gambit like, touch ain't what she looking for. That kind of touch ain't what she looking for, mon ami. Right? And when he tells him marry, he's like, scoundrels don't get the whole, picket fence. We too busy sinning. There is no love without sin. That's what it's like. Damn, Kurt. That's why Kurt ain't here all the time. We can't have all these people dropping bombs. We can't have all the Germans, which is funny thinking about him and Magneto being Germans. We can't have all the Germans dropping just truth bombs over here. That's wow. And he said, love is best measured in what we forgive. Hinting super hard at the conversation that Rogue is about to have with Gambit as he's getting dressed and she's crying. Telling him her past. Her mom after she ran from her daddy, her mom getting her to train her powers where she absorbs avalanche. We saw that back in 92. Her mom was actually Mystique, disguised as the blonde lady. And she brought her to Magneto. Magneto would train her, teach her a bunch of stuff, tell them about how one day we'll have this, that, and the third. Hell, even Magneto was surprised that within his lifetime, Genosha would be a thing, right? But, he talks to her, and then one day they discover they can touch. His magnetic powers allow him to touch. And so, things happen. Y'all know what kind of things happen. Don't play with me. But she realized there was too much turmoil inside of him because he was having nightmares. Too much turmoil for her to be, with him. And so she went to the X-Men. He told her, don't tell them about us. They will abandon you. They probably wouldn't. And just like in the comics, funny enough, she was with the bad guys. That's why I'm wearing Carol right here, because she absorbed. That's where she gets her flight and her super strength from. So in the comics, and she approaches the X-Men, they have issues with her, or Storm especially, but they warm up to her, right? So she's part of that, I want to say that third gen group, possibly, right before the whole Outback thing. And while she's talking to Gambit, I gotta go down here a little bit. Gotta go down. And I love when he's like, you need to take his offer. And he's saying, you never wanted to make anything official, and I accepted that. Again, that's cutting home. Oh boy, that's cutting home, Gambit. I played the Swamp Back, and I played your share. All expectations. Every time I'm looking at you, saying all these things that I couldn't do. Her whole thing is she wants, and that's been a part of early Rogue, period. She wants to, touch Remy. Physical touch is an interesting thing. You take for granted hugging somebody, kissing somebody on the cheek. I'm not talking about lips or sexual contact. Holding hands, hugging somebody, that is intimacy. Kissing a forehead, that is intimacy. She can't do any of that, period. And so Gambit's just harping on the fact that you couldn't tell Gambit the dang truth. And you light up everything you touch, but you can never touch me. Some things are deeper than skin, Cher. And not this. And Gambit's wagering that he's going to break his heart. And she's like, because Gambit always know the odds. No, because I know this. But we be friends, mon ami. Just friends. And I was crying. Rogue was crying. Gambit wanted to cry. And of course, the party, and he sees them. She's wearing a dress, funny enough, that she wore on their first date in the comics. So her arms are open and bare. Her first date, I think, and her arms are open bare. She even kisses Magneto in front of everybody, and she admits that Remy was right. Some things go beyond touch. Maddie gets that same psychic headache, nose bleeding. You hear Cable say, turn off the music. She sees Cable, body slides, about to send him back. And he's like, you got to get everybody out of here. Explosions start to happen, and then that's the genocide. Man, I'm not going to go through every action scene, but I'm going to say this. Is they have a much easier time of showing this impactful destruction, like seeing Banshee. Like, we all know how Banshee got killed the first time in the comics, and just then when he got skinned by Moira, I'm going to talk about that. But it's going to be so difficult. I hope they find a way how to mirror the destruction and urgency when they do the films for the X-Men, like they have done in X-Men 97. And you would think they would be able to a bit, right? Because this was 30 minutes. Make something 2 hours. This was so good. And I love the fact that they put all their shit aside. Once stuff hits the fan, the explosions happening, Rogue is waking up, massive Sentinel is attacking, massive Master Mold Sentinel is attacking, dropping other Sentinels down. And you get Nightcrawler coming in to save both Gambit and Rogue, which thank goodness he was there. He got hurt. No, I think he said Magneto and Rogue. And he's Magneto's asking Gambit how many? too many. We can't even put a dent in this thing. And then they hear words that the Morlocks are stuck in the tunnels. Where that right underneath the master mold. And Magneto's like, okay, we're going to go get them. Because we're not going to live the rest of our lives wondering if we could have saved more. Just get everybody, even the Cooper lady who's in the UN. Everyone's trying to get people to, I think it's like a pavilion. There's like a safe area. I guess that was prepared for shit like this. And just Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit doing their damn thing was so cool to see. Magneto taking point, Gambit and Rogue going through. They look so badass. Him on the motorcycle, her flying through, almost like just flying in there. Gambit takes out 3 Sentinels solo. So the combat experience matters. And I've seen people argue that those 3 should have been able to take care of it. Wait, what about all the other heavy hitters? Which it does beg the question. Those of you who don't know Exodus is pretty fucking strong, right? Exodus is pretty strong. Hell, I'd wager now, this is the 90s, so Emma doesn't have her diamond form. Somebody like Sebastian Shaw, who absorbs kinetic energy and sends that thing back. Him and Bishop kind of mirror each other a little bit. So Bishop, their fundamental differences. Bishop, I think, absorbs all energy. It's kinetic energy with Homeboy. But you have Sebastian Shaw there. Matter of fact, let me just flip. I'm going to flip my stuff here. You have Maddie, who now has, Jean Grey powers, right? Yeah, Maddie. You have, Nightcrawler. I don't know how much Nightcrawler can do. And judging by what Gambit's saying, some of them tried to fight. Marrow and Banshee just bit the dust right there. And Callisto, pretty sure Callisto's dead with her eyes open. And it's just so sad to see Alicia on. Magneto said we would never be afraid again. And Caroline Dean's like, X-Men are not friend of Morlocks. And the X-Men come in, they get them. And then Master Mode is just right there. And Magneto comes to defend the kids after getting hit into a Charles Xavier statue, which falls on other people. And I love the line, they will be avenged this day. And it recognizes like Omega level threat. Magneto's Omega level. This super green beam. And while he's defending those in front of him, especially Leech is right here, and Rogue is like, we not doing this. He is at the same time keeping Rogue and Gambit back and covering them up. And they share one last look. And he says in German to Leech, be not afraid, as the beam finally breaks through. That got me. The be not afraid, that got me too. That's rough. And now you have Rogue wanting to go after Master Mode, whose main head is going forward, but one of the other two is about to shoot her down. You got Gambit with the kinetic motorcycle save. And if you really want a Gambit fan before this, you got to be one now, man. Just this man goes in and like he gets stabbed in the side. He's moving his way up. He's doing the thing. Gets stabbed in the side. And Master Mode goes mutant threat, eliminate. He goes, the name's Gambit. Remember it. Oh, man. I knew I wasn't going to be on a 25 with this one because that isn't just. And of course, what he did when he touched it, he sent his kinetic energy into the Master Mode to explode it. But he didn't make it out because when Rogue touches him, she's like, I can't feel you anymore, sugar. That's just then the sad theme music at the end. This by far, I think I've given every episode 5 out of 5. I gotta have a rating with something that's just, this might be the first 6 out of 5 I give ever. This is fantastic. It is heartbreaking in the correct ways. It is phenomenal. Uncanny, astonishing, fantastic. I can't see anything getting close to how good this is. Like if you were to ask me my rankings of like X-Men media and shows and things they've been in, it's this and the anime are right there. The X-Men anime, this X-Men anime are right there with how freaking good storytelling is, remixing things. This was so good. And to just take a line that was said that was cool, because I remember that episode. That's actually one of the few episodes I can remember rewatching over and over again, and take that line and apply it to this. I gotta thank people off of Instagram, especially I need to get the account name right, especially Power of X-Men. Thank you, Power of X-Men, cultivating this community. Just I appreciate that when I asked the question that you got back to me, because there was so much going on. And just, I guess if I would have saw The Watcher, I would have known that it was going down right then and there. Now, and this is something I didn't comprehend, so I didn't think about earlier. So let's do this live, right? What's going to happen after this? See, because Cable came to his mother and said, "Oh no, it's happening again. I'm sorry, Mom." And she realizes that it's Nathan, and she's, happy, like, "Oh, you made it. I knew you would make it." He's saying, "I'm sorry." And first episode, Maddie got a flash of this being inside of Homeboy's mind. Not Trask, but the other one. I got to kill Charles. It makes you wonder. Episode 6 is Life Death Part 2. I need to know what episode 7 is. Because what do you do after this? Now you have to deal with... Oh no, and episode 7 is Bright Eyes. So... And our last 3 episodes are Tolerance is Extinction. Oh crap. So... Okay, what do you do? Like, are we going to go back in time? Is Cable going to come forward at the end of episode 7 and going to go, "I've been trying to find out how to stop that day from happening, and I think I know how. We got to break the master mode before it gets loose. Kill Cassandra Nova." I still think it's Cassandra Nova because she hates Charles. Charles's best friend is Magneto, and he is leading the thing that Charles put his life work into. And she wants to crush everything that has to do with Charles. Peace, who cares? Kill all of it, right? So I feel that Cable's going to come forward, go, "We're going to do some Days of Future Past stuff." Pretty sure they did a Days of Future Past episode in the original first 5 seasons. I am not 100% sure on that. I'm pretty sure they did. But regardless, I think we're going to get a rehash of that. And another thing I missed, the creator of the inhibitors, his picture was with Forge and one other person on that wall. Another person, excuse me. Oh crap, how did I forget his name so fast? Bastion is responsible for one of my favorite arcs, Zero Tolerance. And hey, tolerance is extinction. We're mixing Zero Tolerance with E for extinction. I can dig it. And zero tolerance is like X-Men are their backs against the wall again. I love it. You have man-sized Sentinels that basically they turn people into Sentinels. That's where we get Karima, Omega Sentinel, who becomes a good guy. And now it's a bad guy in the comics. Again, the current version somewhere, the future one's evil, but still, that's neither here nor there. Those last 3 episodes are going to dictate where we go forward. I just need to know, how are we going to get Gambit back? Because, I hope Emma's alive. Please let Emma be alive. Please let Emma and Maddie. Maddie has kind of replaced Emma from like 2000s, and Maddie's kind of Emma. I love the fact Emma's still Emma though, because she is just, I love her snarkiness. She was snarky about with Dr. Cooper with her dress at the party, saying we got to talk about this whole Magneto thing. And one of the best lines, because I said Scott's line, one of Magneto's best lines when she said, he says, surely the UN recognizes that Genosha is a sovereign government and it can pick its own leaders. And she's like, usually other nations don't pick a terrorist as their leader. And he says, right, but many other nations allow their leaders to be terrorists. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. 5 out of 5. If I could make it a 6, I would. If I could make this a 6 out of 10, that's what I would make it. This is chef's kiss, and this is just it's just episode 5. We're in the middle. Where's this gonna go? Please, Cable, please body slide and save them at least. Save Gambit at least. Man, I feel bad for Banshee. Save Gambit. Maybe save Magneto's arm. Who knows? I don't know, but this was great. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Man, I love the fact the Watcher is here. And I remember saying that maybe I should just pay attention. I remember saying at the end of What If, man, it would be kind of crazy if the Watcher just starts showing up in other people's stuff. Like, that would be great. Just put the Watcher in everybody's movies. And I would have almost missed him being here. Man. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and get notified with that notification bell of more stuff like this. I'm also happy I was able to pick up on other things that I forgot in the last episode. Just Bastion being shown with Forge and the guy that made the inhibitors who's technically dead. That was probably Mystique in there, because I think Mystique had gotten rid of him. No, she got rid of him after that picture. So we still don't know where Mystique is. Like, there's so much going. This feels like a world, and I love it. Love it. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands, drink some water. Be careful, be safe. Be good to yourself, be good to others. That way it goes. Don't be a jerk. And I appreciate you all taking some time out to listen to me talk about X-Men 97. Remember, there are people out there that would love for you to take time out and talk to them. If you're feeling down and out, reach out to somebody. All right. There are people out there who would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. My social media is in the description below, right underneath the Patreon link. Give me a follow, send me a message. Just don't be a jerk about it, and we'll be good. All right, man. True believers, I might have to go back and rewatch this again. Unbelievable, phenomenal. I'll see you next time. Excelsior. Oh, and Magneto was right.